And supporters hailing their friendship, sacrifice and energy as they banded together to further his campaign.
Dr. Cheng Bock says that he is so heartened that people with different political affiliations came together to support his campaign. The former Member of Parliament had campaigned on a platform of being a shelter for Singaporeans.
Like his election symbol, the palm tree, Dr. Tan had said he hoped to lead a presidency that would prove a shelter to accommodate all Singaporeans regardless of their political inclinations.
He pledged to be a unifying figure in putting the nation above politics and strengthen multiracialism.
Now, former Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Tony Tan has stopped in for a second time at the Elections Department to oversee the recount. In the run-up to Saturday's vote, Dr. Tony Tan said that this presidential campaign election has been one of the most challenging things he's ever done, but also the most exciting.
Dr. Tony Tan also took pains to stress that as an independent candidate, he no longer toes a party line and is free to discuss whatever issue is close to the hearts of Singaporeans.
Now, as for former senior civil servant Mr. Tan Jee-say, he left Bock Stadium asking his supporters to get some rest.
Mr. Tan Jee-say focused his campaign on the positive use of moral power. With his Heart of the Nation-themed campaign, Mr. Tan Jee-say wanted to use the president's moral authority to do positive things for Singaporeans.
Now, short of conceding defeat, Mr. Tan Jee-say says the short campaign period worked against him. He could not correct the wrong perception that he was confrontational.
Mr. Tan Jee-say says a period of 3 months would have been better.
Now, the only candidate to concede defeat so far says he and his family will rest tomorrow after the results are out.
But not about to rest easy just yet. Mr. Tan Kim Lian intends to engage Singaporeans on issues that affect them the most, such as housing and public transport.
He's even promised to find ways to convey sentiments expressed there to the government.
Now, looking back on his campaign, Mr. Tan Kim Lian says he exceeded his initial budget of $50,000 for his presidential campaign by 10 to 20,000 Sing dollars.
Now, we're going to get an update from our reporters now. Ho Yini at Jurong East Stadium, where Dr. Cheng Bock's supporters were gathered.
Well, Minister and Cheng, I'm still here at Jurong East Stadium, and I'm not the only one around. As you can see behind me, we've got about 100-odd supporters of Dr. Cheng Bock. Some of them have decided to stay behind. We actually went out and had a peek at the car park. We saw some of the supporters taking naps in their cars, a little cat nap, and some of them also having supper before coming back in to await the results. The results are still not out yet. Counting is still underway, but we are expecting the results anytime soon. Dr. Cheng Bock, as well as members of his campaign team on the stage, gathered around the table where the laptops are, tabulating the results. Down and on the field, we've got supporters who've been here, some as early as 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. They've been here all throughout the night, being very patient. And about half an hour ago, well, within the last half an hour, Dr. Cheng Bock came to Jurong East Stadium from the Elections Department and headed straight to the stage to address his supporters. And he thanked them for their patience and asked for more patience. Thank them for all the tireless effort, tireless support over the last 9 days of campaigning. And, his campaigning started really quite early because Dr. Tan was the first candidate to make known his intention to run. And this was he had made up his mind sometime back in May and was one of the first to be at the Elections Department in June. So, he thanked them, everyone from the social media team to the translators to the rally organizations to even the vehicle drivers for taking all the time out to help him campaign. It has been an extremely intense campaign for even a very veteran campaigner. Dr. Cheng Bock, of course, a veteran MP, has fought and won 6 general elections. Well, now we are expecting the results anytime soon. Let's have a listen at what the supporters of Dr. Tony Tan have to say at Toa Payoh Stadium. My colleague, May Wong.
Look at some of the interesting pictures that were collated by our channelnewsasia.com online team. If you can look at this picture over here, that's Dr. Tony Tan with his signature black framed spectacles being used as his election logo, and you can see them on his purple rimmed cap. Let me just pull up that picture again for you very quickly. That's and purple is of course his signature color for this election campaign. As for candidate Tan Ji Se, his election symbol is the heart, and you can see in this picture, here is Mr. Tan's, one of Mr. Tan's supporters, putting together a heart with all the buttons endorsing his face. As for Dr. Tan Cheng Bock, red is his election color, and you can see his supporters turning out in a sea of red in this picture here, all dressed in red, all decked out in red, all supporting him at one of his walkabouts during the campaign. And red is also the signature color for candidate Tan Kin Lian, and he has T-shirts with the picture of his election logo. That's a speech bubble with a hand on it, and that's actually Tan Kin Lian's granddaughter wearing the T-shirt. And if you want more updates of the election campaign or more interesting pictures, you can always log on to our Facebook page. That's at facebook.com, Channel News Asia Connect.
Thanks a lot for that, Val. Let's take a closer look at the front runners as the recount reaches its final stages. Dr. Tan Cheng Bock and Dr. Tony Tan.
Dr. Tan Cheng Bock was the first candidate to declare his intention to run for president. Before becoming a presidential candidate, he was known to many as Mr. Feedback and a vocal member of parliament. Some just like to call him Doc.
Yes, and here's a look at his personal history and his vision for the office.
Dr. Tan Cheng Bock served as MP for Ayer Rajah for 26 years. He was re-elected 5 times. In 2001, he received 88% share of the valid votes. It was the People's Action Party's, or PAP's, best showing since 1980. In May 2011, Dr. Tan resigned from the PAP to run for the presidency, citing the need to unify all Singaporeans.
The last general elections, I noticed there's a divide coming among Singaporeans with the different political affiliations, the individual differences. Let us put all this aside. It is important that all the races here must be able to work together. And with the influx of also for the new citizens, it is important that we be able to get them to join our society and be part of a big family.
Dr. Tan comes from humble beginnings. Born in 1940, his father died when he was 16. He was able to complete his education at Raffles Institution and later at the University of Singapore, with the help of bursaries and some ad hoc jobs he took on. He began his career as a doctor at the Ama Keng Clinic in Lim Chu Kang. For poor villagers who could not afford his fees, he was willing to defer payment or accept payment in kind. At 39, Dr. Tan accepted the invitation to enter politics, and in 1980 he passed his first electoral test with 83.4% of the valid votes. During parliamentary debates, Dr. Tan was known for speaking his mind, particularly on the debate over nominated MPs.
My own feelings on this fundamental democratic principle of only having elected members of parliament in this house is too strong to be compromised. I cannot support this motion.
Despite the party whip in place, Dr. Tan voted against the NMP scheme on grounds that political office holders should earn their mandate from the people, a principle he holds dear till today.
We make a big effort over the last few months to go down right to the ground, to engage the voters, to explain to them I'm here to earn my vote, not just expect that you will vote for me.
In 1985, Dr. Tan's strength in the grassroots made him the obvious choice to head the Feedback Unit, a body set up to help the government understand ground sentiments better.
Good evening. Welcome to Ask the Panel.
Later, as chairman of the Government Parliamentary Committee for Education, Dr. Tan led a team of MPs to lobby for the use of the Central Provident Fund for education. The scheme
At Jurong East Stadium, we are watching pictures live of his arrival.
This is Channel News Asia's special coverage of the Singapore presidential election. Dr. Tan on stage, appearing to be preparing to give a speech.
Haven't got the right. Hello. Yeah, my spectacles. That's right. But I don't need to. I don't need it. No more mic. Oh, no more mic. So you just okay. Okay. No more mic. So I got to yell a bit. Yeah. I want to. Okay. Okay. There's no more mic, so I'll just open the mic.
More mic, no mic.
Oh, okay. You're running live.
These two should advise you cannot make a statement because the announcement is not delayed.
Oh.
No, you contravene the.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you just ask him to hang on before the announcement comes out.
Yeah.
Dr. Tan, our mic is on. You can speak. We are going live. You can talk. You can talk on the
Yeah, but I can't say.
Yeah, our mic is on.
Okay, I just.
These two only, these two.
Okay.
These two only.
Okay, okay. Hello. No sound. No, but they can record you.
Where's our TV mic? Oh, this one, sorry. This mic.
Hello.
Yeah, studio can hear you loud and clear. Can you talk? Okay.
Hello. Can you hear me now? No. Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay, my dear fellow Singaporeans. The results of the recount has still not been known. Therefore, you've got to be a little bit patient. But I thought I'll use this occasion just to thank all of you. First, I want to say thank you for those who have voted for me. I also want to thank you for supporting me in this campaign. I've got so many good friends that we met. And I'm grateful to all of them. We have fought very hard in this campaign, and I want to believe that we did the best that we could ever had. Maybe I shall use this occasion to thank my team. First, I want to thank the HQ team. I don't know whether they're around. Then, of course, our social media teams, Dad's army, my old army, all the photographers, the videographers, and the audio team, the vehicle campaign team who went around the whole island. Every day, they went around the island, every day. Then, of course, I want to thank the printers, the designers, the banners and poster teams, walkabout teams, security teams, translators, rally organizers, MC and speakers, and of course, our fundraisers. Now, every one of you is special to me. For many weeks, we walked together, we laughed together, we ate together, and campaigned hard together. Putting aside our political differences, actually I'm very glad that so many of you with different political affiliations came together and we work as a team, and that's exactly what I like. I think did it because they shared a common cause to put nation above politics. And that is a very important call. I would say the conduct of this election was planned and executed in a manner that I could not have asked for more. Each one knew their roles very well, and I'm very proud of them. The result hasn't been announced, so be patient. I think I also want to thank my family, my wife, my children, and their spouses for putting in so many hours for me in this campaign. But your friendship, sacrifice, and energy will always be with me. So once again, my supporters, while you wait for the results, let me say terima kasih, vanakkam, 谢谢你们, kamsia. Thank you. I think just have to wait a little while. You should get the results will be announced. Thank you. So be patient. Just come down and talk to you all, okay?
Well, Dr. Tan Cheng Bock energizing his supporters who are still at the Jurong East Stadium. They're telling them that, the results still not known, and he thanked his supporters, the various teams who have helped him in the campaign. He also thanked his family. He said in particular that he's made many new friends. They've fought hard and they've done their best. And I think what he found most comforting was that everyone had put aside their political affiliation, political differences, and worked together for his campaign, and that he couldn't have asked for more.
Right, we're moving off now to find out what's the latest from the Principal Counting Centre as Ramesh is standing by. Ramesh.
Well, Dr. Tony Tan is still here with his wife and some of his key officials. We are